Welcome to another episode of the Aude Firmin podcast, where we talk about intuition, energy, business, and everything to make sure you reconnect to your true power and live an aligned life. So today we're going to talk about energy cord cutting. So what does it mean? So first, let's introduce what is energy. We are made of energy. We have like main chakras, so this energetic center that are going to regulate our hormones, but also our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So when we have dis-ease, it means that our chakras, our energy is unbalanced. And it's nothing very serious. It's something we are always tending towards, this harmony of energy. But we need to look at energy in our life. And it's true, in our modern life, we tend to forget that we are made of energy. We focus on the 3D, the psychological, because we don't see it. But it's a bit like Wi-Fi. You don't see it, gravity, you don't see it, but it exists. And you know that after a big day at work, focusing on your screen, your energy is low. And if you don't know how to manage it, then it creates some energetic block or energetic leaks. So that's why energy is really the base of success, both in your personal, business, and spiritual life. And trust me, I learned this the hard way when I was in tech, and I kept burning out. And this is how I discovered Reiki, which is Japanese energy healing, very, very powerful. When you do Reiki every day on you after an attunement, you will see your life is really like changing. So you can learn Reiki with me. By the way, I offer Reiki courses. You can check on my website in the description link. So let's go back to why it's important to cut energy cords. So, when we connect to people, even having a conversation or having a hug or friendship, relationship, etc., it creates some energetic cords. And it doesn't mean that we should be completely paranoid about it. But it is important to understand what are like the energetic cords that serve you and what are the energetic cords that you need to release to let go. So, for example, I have some clients who can't forget about like one of their past partner or a crush they had on. And every time it feels like there is this kind of deprivation of energy. Some people will call it limerence. So limerence is a bit like an addiction. When you keep thinking about a person, it takes all your energy, all your mental power. You think it's love, but honestly, it is more like, it's like cocaine. It's like a drug. And limerence happens when you have often a need that is not met in your childhood, or you have lower self-worth, or you are in a time of transition in your life where you feel a bit vulnerable. Limerence can also happen when you're supposed to meet this person that is going to trigger a lot out of you, often in a negative way, or like a massive high positive and low negative. So that's what happens with limerence. So in the process of like someone, for example, experiencing limerence, cord cutting is essential because all your energy is basically taken out of you and focused on this person while you want to do your business project, your personal project, and it's going nowhere. So I know a lot of you have been trying to do cord cutting and it hasn't worked necessarily. So I would say like there are several ways to do cord cutting. The first step is first being aware that you have this energy cord with this person and you want to let it go. There are a lot of people who have this attachment or toxic attachment with someone and they're not really ready to let go. And so they will keep this pain, keep this intensity because it makes them feel alive. Or they might confuse love and like this limerence. So the first thing is being aware of this cord, then wanting to release it. And often when you want to release it, you're battling, you are pushing, and this creates actually a bigger energetic block. So what you can do is to connect with this part of yourself where you understand, why is there this energetic cord here? What is it teaching me? Is it something that happened, for example, with my dad, who was not present, who abandoned me, or I felt I was not listened to, or there was some kind of inconsistency up and down, or was feeling disappointed? Really understanding what is the mirroring of this cord, because often, like this energetic cord that you want to release with, let's say, a friend, a romantic partner, a business partner, it is going to mirror a wound that is much more ancient. So you feel like, oh my God, this person is the love of my life, but I can't get this person. But the reality is just a reenactment, a cycle. And that's what also I teach in spiritual life coaching is like, when you get like a massive trigger in your life, often it's just an echo from the past. And when you dig deeper, when you connect to your different parts, because we all have like this kind of schizophrenic family system inside of ourselves, who the part who wants to connect, the part who wants to run away, the part who is competitive, the part who is loving, then we can make sense of it. And instead of chaos and competition and one part who want to take over, this is what we call a family system, internal family system, then we can create much more harmony. So in the past, when I had a massive cord, let's say with a former partner or a crush, I will try to like really hard to cut it and to release it, like doing meditation and cutting with like archangels. And yes, it's great. It works, but when like the cord is massive, it's actually, I feel it's reinforcing the cord. So through experience, through my personal experience, but also my client experiences and my way to help them, I saw that using like a mix of mindfulness, energy work like Reiki, psychic work, so tuning in intuitively in this part in the cord, really understanding why the person is here in your life instead of demonizing this person or instead of saying like, oh, I shouldn't have this cord, I need to release it. And then the ego is in the way to actually come from a piece of surrendering. And I know in the spiritual community, we talk a lot about surrendering. And it is, I think, one of the hardest things for human beings because we kind of have a plan made by the mind. And actually, it is not the bigger picture. We can't see it. And even, being a psychic myself, I'm not supposed to see everything in my life. And that's why, like psychic mediums see other psychic mediums to get clarity. For me, I know how to work with like, again, my guides, with angels, with like prompts, so I am guided. And so really ask also for help, whatever is your belief system spiritually. And even if you feel you don't have any belief system, ask for help. It can be through like just a thought. It can be a prayer. It can be a meditation. It can be a vision board, and really ask for like guidance on how to release this code and what you need to learn from it. Often there is a part of forgiveness that needs to happen with the person, the past person. So let's say your dad that triggered this chord, and also this part of yourself who really wanted to feel loved, who really wanted to feel protected. And so that is going to attach and to current person you have the cord with, lots of cords to follow. And so by coming to a place more like of stillness and softness rather than like, I need to cut this, I need to push this, then like the cord cutting is much more efficient. Another way to do cord cutting is to work with the elements. So for example, last weekend, I was at a camp in nature, working with the elements, learning to do like survival, creating my own fire from scratch, creating like a shelter, foraging my own foods. That was amazing, by the way. I highly recommend this. And I had a lot of waves of emotions. I had a cord to cut actually this weekend. And this weekend was brought to my attention through the intention I had, and through my prayers, please help me release it. And it was a cause that I was trying to cut for months, something really resistant that created a lot of emotional pain, physical pain, literally people who have experienced trauma in their life, or even any person, but especially a trauma survivor, if we can say, when there is a lot of emotion retriggering the trauma, they feel physical for months. While I was honestly okay from an emotional perspective, I could feel some pain in my heart, physical pain in my solar plexus. So this is where the energy was sitting as a block. And I walked through it through Reiki, through different rituals, but I feel like being in nature this weekend, walking through the element of fire, of literally visualizing this cord, letting go through the fire, being burned, being, rejuvenated and recycled through the process of decomposition, of maturing and that process through nature really helped me to shift this energy. And also being in a natural environment is so healing by itself. So remember, you are not alone. We are supposed to go through this cord process. Yes, there are so these processes are super painful. often the good thing about it is really for our spiritual growth. And through this process, we can really embody a version of ourselves that we feel we wouldn't have been able to. So that's why instead I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm so bad. I can't get rid of this cord, or I go back to this space, and see that as a beautiful proof of resilience, of having this intention to grow through love, even using this vehicle of pain to growing and to deepening your spirituality. And again, as I'm teaching, spirituality doesn't have to be, like being in Bali, disconnected from modern society. And even if you're in Bali, amazing. But what I'm trying to say is we have these tools at our fingertips for our modern life. We don't need to be a hippie. And if we are a hippie, okay, no problem with that. You don't need to change yourself. Cord cutting is as essential than brushing your teeth. And in some ways, modern society showing it as like it's so weird to talk about energy and intuition. It's really cutting a fundamental part of ourselves. It's like, we are birds with wings, and we feel like wings is just a bit too much. It's too hoo-hoo for us. Imagine like the potential you're cutting yourself from if you don't work with your energy and your intuition. And that's why I've created my business 2 years ago, and I've worked with more than 900 people all over the world, in person in London, but also online. And that's what is incredible is like when I use spiritual life coaching to break like these patterns, Reiki, psychic as well, to download the messages, and even intuitive business coaching to help people step into their next phase in their business life. I see that my people, my clients, my community is changing so much. And there is this deep sense of joy, of reconnection to ourselves that wouldn't be possible with this. And also a lot of people ask me, how did you grow your business so quickly? More than 900 people in 2 years is very big. And it is really working through these cords, working through this attachment, working with my energy, working with my intuition, following the prompt, making decisions. Of course, I use strategy and logic, but you listening to this little prompt and understanding the messages behind it, using pain as well as a way of growth. I can't tell you how much I've grown spiritually through making this business, because, in this time of uncertainty, or when you have like this energetic cord keeping you stuck in some areas of your life with some people or situation, then you have no choice but to go inside, because like your family, your friends are going to tell you, yes, it's going to be okay, or no, stop this. But at the end of the day, it is your connection with the spiritual world, with God, with however you want to call them. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we all have this spiritual connection that we are branding ourselves as spiritual or not. So that's why I will encourage you to have a check-in with yourself regularly. I don't know, maybe once a week or once a month if you want, or at full moon, new moon. You can use as well the moon energy for equinox and solstices to release these cords that don't serve you. And so you can step into the next phase of your life, or you can create more energy for something new and beautiful. So tell me in the comments what kind of cord cutting you've experienced, what are like the wisdom you can share with each other. Let's make this community alive. I share my experience through my own life and my clients. I know you have lots of experience to share. And if you are ready to go deeper in your spirituality, to increase your intuition, or even wanting some clarity or create your business, you can book your 30-minute free consultation with me on my website and really follow the prompt. What I love in the communities that I'm building all over the world is that these people are one step in spirituality and one step in the modern world. So I feel it's very anchored. I feel like it's so much needed to create this change within society. And again, like this cord cutting as like who as it can be for some people, is going to be the normal hygiene, energetic hygiene for a balanced life. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to share this episode with anyone that can benefit from it. Put like some 5-star if you enjoyed it. The more support, the better. And let's democratize this topic about energy and intuition, because I've seen it myself. It has changed my life and it has changed the life of others. So let's bring this positive change in the world together. Thank you so much, and see you at the next episode at the Aude Firmin podcast.